how do you find your mix? Now, if you're new here and you don't even know what the mix is, please check out in the collections part here on Patreon. Check out the Stretch Your Range collection. It's got all kind of stuff on range, but particularly it has my videos on what is the mix really and some other details on mixed voice stuff. Just go check it out if you don't know what it is. If you do, you're in the right place. So how do you find your mix? Let's talk about what the mix is not. The mix is not pulled up chest. A lot of you, when I work with you, you think you're mixing and you're just pulling chest voice up and you think you're placing it in the mask. If you're not sure if I'm talking about you, often you will say, I can do mix, but I can't do head voice. It's impossible. It's not likely, it's practically impossible because of what the mix actually is. The mix is a gateway into head voice very easily. And what I find with every single one of you that I've worked with, when you say, well, I can mix, but I can't do head voice, you're never actually mixing at all. You're just pinching and squeezing your chest voice and you're kind of putting it into what you think is the mask or whatever. Or some of you are pinching head voice. So here's a pulled up chest. That's not a mix. Here's a pinched head voice. That's not a mix. A mix it's a coordination in which we get a blend of resonance and a balance of breath pressure. And we can move. I like to use the bel canto term of passaggio. We're in that passageway, we're in the space. We can move. So again, how do we find it? My hot take as a vocal coach is that scales and arpeggios are not a good way to find the mix. In fact, as someone who has taught voice for over 20 years, I say that all the time because it's true. And I'm not humble about the fact that I have saved careers. There are quite a few successful singers who give me the credit with saving their careers. And I say that not humbly because I feel like I know some things that can help you. And one of the things I know is how to help people mix in real life. A lot of my Broadway star clients, you might have heard Brian Terrell Clark, who's now on The Hour from Detroit on that hit show, and he's done Hamilton, blah, blah. He'll often say in interviews, Eric's a master of the mix. And he means it as a compliment, but I don't really feel like I teach the mix. My musical theater students and my gospel students, my rock students will say, Eric taught me how to mix. Yeah, yes and no. I taught them how to actually use the mix in real life when other people could not. Because I know the mix is naturally occurring. You've heard me say this in the how to mix, in the what is a mix video. The mix is not a random note. If we are free, the larynx will tilt. The vocal folds will stretch and thin and adjust as they need to. Even it doesn't matter the tonal quality. The tonal quality can present new challenges, but you can mix regardless of the tone. It can be light and ethereal. It can be more pressurized. You get the idea. So we need to get out of the way. If you get out of the way and stop interfering, think of it this way. The mix wants to happen. So if you're not mixing, the question is really, how am I blocking it? How am I blocking it? And then we need to stop blocking it. I'm going to give you 3 tools with which to explore getting out of the way with a little bit of assistance to help nudge us out of the way so that we can restore that open channel so that we can move from the chest voice and then into the mixed voice and then into the head voice and then back down and then it should just be a thing. If we're open, it should just happen. So we're going to do a slow-mo siren. Register slides and sirens are commonplace amongst vocal teachers these days, but typically they're done very quickly. But if we slow it down, yeah. Why? I want you to find that teetery feeling. It feels like you're teetering. A mental break, A mental block, a mental blockage that I find that most singers possess in regards to the mix is they want the mix to feel solid like chest or flowy like head. It is neither. It's teetering. You're on a balance beam. You're on a high wire. You're teetering. It's ah. But if you or ooh, ooh, no, it's ah. You're in between. Remember, chest voice is the black, head voice is the white. We want to find shades of gray. Ah, ooh, ah. And a lot of times what you guys will tell me in check, especially those of you in Donna's class, in the pitch control class, I had this happen twice just today with new students. You told me, oh, the mix is easy for me, Eric. And you were way, way off pitch. And you were just squeezing chest voice. And when I finally got you into the mix, you went, oh, that's different. The mix is a mix. Please stop running from reality. It should feel teetery. If you feel like, oh, this is nothing, you're probably not doing it right. I talk about Simone Biles a lot. Simone Biles is uncannily agile and well coordinated on a balance beam, but it is still a balance beam. I want us to be like Simone Biles or a Cirque du Soleil performer where we might have incredible control, incredible poise, incredible agility to flip and everything on the balance beam, but you will still feel that it is a balance beam or that it is a tightrope. You're still going to feel that. It doesn't feel like you're just on solid ground. When you're doing your slide, first you have to establish what is my chest voice. I'm me, you're you, so you're gonna have a different range, but find your speaking heavy chest voice. Find some kind of head voice. It doesn't have to be strong. You could even think falsetto if it helps. You have to find the black and find the white. Once you find that, can you slide? This step alone may take you days or weeks. That's fine. That's fine. A problem many of you have is you'll practice something for 2 minutes and then get frustrated and then start DMing me. Please don't do that. I love you guys and I love answering your questions, but practice is a thing. It's okay. And you say, oh, I'm not perfect at it. What's wrong? You did it for 2 minutes. Like, okay, just practice. Just practice it. Here's what likely may happen. If that's you, stay tuned. We're going to get to that. But if you can connect pretty smoothly, linger in the center. Find the gray. Linger. Vocalists tend to want to run past the teetery part. But what happens if we and you don't have to make your voice tremble. I'm being dramatic, but this can feel teetery. Teeter, linger. So step one, connect, even if it's quickly. If you can't connect quickly, don't even bother trying to linger, really. But you want to get a connection first. You got to slide through. Then we linger. If you can already do this, get to lingering and practice. If you're in either group, stay tuned because what I'm going to say applies to both my more experienced people and to my new. This is your first tool to either help you connect or to help you find stability. And that is activating your lats. It's a bit advanced. If you know how to do this, you're going to flex out from the sides of your back and you're going to keep flexing. And you're going to find that place and you're just going to get used to the shaky trembleness of it. Why do I look like I'm about to do some kind of merengue? But you want to find that stability. Keep feeding the flex, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about with using your lats, check out the collection on using your lats. I've linked it in the little info box underneath this video. I have a whole series of content on just using your lats. But in a nutshell, since you already know how this works, remember, we have to get out of the way. The blend wants to happen. Typically, if you use the technique well, open lats will help to fortify your throat in a place of openness and relaxation. So if we're open here in the main channel, you'll just blend. And when you find that, when you find that in between place, you just want to linger there and work it for a few minutes. So that's tool number one. Tool number two is a low larynx sound. You can think, some people call it a dopey sound, low larynx sound. You can also think of it as a yawn sound. So if you yawn, you hear that, how that's, it's not but it's, or some people call it a yawn sigh. If you yawn, remember a yawn has an inhale component and an exhale component. When you yawn, everything opens up, and on the exhale, it might sound kind of airy or wispy, but this can be a really gentle, easy way to start finding connection from chest voice up to the head voice and the neck down. So you want to, it's not powerful, but it is liberating. So, and it's kind of hard to linger with this one, but it's still really good to find that connection. But you can, because by design, you expend a lot more breath than usual if you're really trying to operate from that yawning release place. But this is a really good one, especially if you're someone who's always struggled with excess tension. Just really let it be loose and breathy. We're not going to live here forever, but just to grant us entry into the mixed voice part of the range, just to help us find that feeling, you know? So we have activate your lats. If you can, check out the collections. We have yawn. We also have whine or cry. Some people, if you were in my class where I featured Randy Bisher during the thick of quarantine, you might remember that he had a student meow like a cat. Meow, meow. No, people were like, what? Because, yeah. You might know it as meow like a cat, brat cat, witch's voice, whiny, you know, it has a lot of names, but we want this kind of creaky sounds. You know, so you might think, isn't that bad for your voice? Like, isn't that bad? No, because we're not going, we're not pinching the throat. With any of these techniques, you might be better at one than the other, and that's fine. These all may require practice because people do have a tendency to pinch with this, but the whiny cry witch's voice is supposed to incline your cords to stretch and incline you to a place of tilt. And we know it works. Randy was actually a part of a study with Seth Riggs in like the 90s, kind of proving that it could work. And it could even be healing and restorative to a voice. But yeah, it's really good also for thickening up a mix. Now, even if you're someone who wants to sing like this, very open all the time, and even if you want to sing like that, it's still worth it to, just to build strength. These exercises like the and the cry, you don't have to sing like that all the time. They're just to grant us entry into this realm, into this register, into this feeling. And then from there, we can start to kind of play around with different tones. I try to throw my voice around a lot of different ways just to show you it is not genre specific, because a lot of you become very obsessed when I do any kind of demonstration. You go, oh, so it's only for musical theater. Oh, it's only for rock singers. Oh, it's only for gospel singers. Oh, it's only for R&B. I'm trying to teach you freedom. Please stop trying to create cages where none exist. Please, just explore the freedom. It's not an apples to apples comparison. Some of these sounds are just used to help us work certain muscles. It doesn't mean that you have to sing like this all the time just because you use a yawn. And it doesn't mean you have to sing like this all the time just because you use a witch's voice. Now with the active lats, I do kind of want you to sing like this all the time if you can. But we can But anyway, so in review, what do? I want you to establish a connection from head to chest, and then I want you to slow it down and linger at the teetery place in the middle for at least 5 minutes a day, just kind of lingering on the teetery places. Yes, just sustaining notes. I just want you to get used to that. It doesn't have to be any single particular pitch. There will be a zone, and it will vary from day to day by a half step or two, depending on how you feel. I want you to feel your way through it. If you're good with keyboard and piano or guitar, whatever, I don't want you getting obsessed with the notes on the piano or guitar, because that never works for you guys. When I work with you, it doesn't help you sing better. You've got to be able to feel it. You can't use that which you cannot feel. If you don't feel it, it's worthless to you. So before you start telling me, well, I know I can G4, like, God, shut up. Just feel. Stop defending a curse, especially when it's clearly not serving you. And feel. I demand that you get into your body. I cast you back into your body. I'm using vocal witchcraft. Get into your body and stay there. Pay attention to how you feel. Stop trying to escape up here. The answer is not up here. You have to feel it. It has to be felt, okay? Find it, find the feeling. That way when you're singing the song, I just wanna know. Oh, that's a mix. I just wanna know your name. And because I'm in a mix, I have easy access to head voice. Yeah? Step into, oh, that's a mix. Step into the dark side. Listen now. Oh, step into the dark side. I can find it because I know the feeling. I don't have to go to the keyboard and bing, 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 bing. I can feel it in my body. Once that channel has been opened, once that feeling has been established, I know I can just let my voice go where it needs to go and then back. That's all it is. So, experiment. The whole point of this is to find the feeling. Linger there. And you have tools. You have your lats, you have your yawn sound, and you have the cry. Use these tools and practice. If you're watching this video today, do not leave me questions today saying, I tried it and it didn't work. You don't know that it doesn't work. It takes more than a day. Give it a couple of weeks, guys. Some of you know I've done video responses for many of you already. I have no problem with you asking questions. It's just that for so many of you, you literally try for like minutes and then you declare that it doesn't work. You gotta practice. And it feels weird that I have to declare this so much, but I guess in a time where a 10-minute video or a 3-minute video, you're like, oh, that's too long. I know our attention spans have dwindled a lot. I feel like a boomer, even though I'm not, but I feel like a boomer. Develop some presence, strengthen that muscle, learn to be present and just be a little uncomfortable, be a little frustrated. That's okay. It's okay to feel what you feel, but be with that, take a break even, and then resume practicing. Give it a few weeks though, before you start telling me it's not working. Just try, just practice. I promise you can do it, just practice. Because when you come to me in person, I always get you to do it and you tell me how great I am, but here's the key. In many cases, it's not that I'm such a genius, it's just that I won't let you quit. And so many of you think you're working so hard and you're not. Because when you're in one-on-one sessions with me, you'll go, it's just not working. 2 minutes have passed. And you're like, can we do something else? That's what you want to do. And I say, no. Kevin, Josie, Miles, I'm just making up names. Miles was in The Circle, I was watching that on Netflix. But anyway, I'll say, hey, let's not quit and keep doing it. And lo and behold, you end up being able to do it. Surprise. Practicing with some presence and mindfulness can yield positive results. Ta-da! So don't give up. Practice. It should not hurt here. And if you have real questions, then yes, feel free to ask them. And also, if you're in our $50 tier, we're going to be having a class this month. And if you're watching this later, it should be in the recordings. But on May, I don't want to say, but it's in the it's in the chat box and it's in the class recording section. But feel free to let me hear you in the class. That way I can give you real feedback. Because sometimes you guys will describe for me doing certain things, and then when I hear you, I'm like, that's not what you're doing. And I had an experience with that with a guy today. It was like, I'm mixing. I'm like, no, you're just pulling chest up, man. And then I got him into his actual mixing. Went, oh, I thought I was doing it. So yeah, so please show up to the class if you can. That would be super helpful. That way I can hear you in real time and guide you in real time. Anyway, I'm rambling forever. I'll see you guys.